Meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
Kish. I have the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of the Amherst Township Trustees from May 10th, 2022. The meeting was called to order at 7:08 p.m. by Lynch with a pledge to the flag. Roll call, Lynch, Euring, and Kish were present. Abraham was absent. Also in attendance, K. Smarsh, G. Lynch, R. Cerrone, L. Ashley, T. Nicholson, R. Powell, and S. Thorner. 5-122, a motion by Euring, seconded by Lynch, to approve the April 26, 2022 zoning amendment public hearing minutes as presented. All ayes. 5-222, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to approve the April 26, 2022 regular meeting minutes as corrected. All ayes. 5-322, motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring. Move to approve the bills and financial reports with reservations. All ayes. Under audience concerns, T. Nicholson, 9166 Oberlin Road, concerning drainage issues involving a new construction project. The issues are at 9162 Oberlin. Under correspondence, Trustee Lynch gave a short update on the status of the two Amherst Township Lorain County American Rescue Plan Act grant applications. Lynch also noted that the site plan for Phase 1 of the Sandstone Development Plan was passed by the Zoning Commission without revision. Lastly, he mentioned an invitation from Hovanian Homes for the grand opening of Hampshire Farms on May 21st, 2022, with a ribbon-cutting ceremony between 12 and 1 p.m. Under reports, there was none for ambulance. For zoning, 4 permits for the month, 1 new home, bringing the total to 2 year-to-date. There is a BZA hearing on May 25th at 7 p.m. Under fire, there was no report. Road, Park, and Cemetery, Road Superintendent Smarsh reported that they are currently working on trimming and mowing the parks and cemeteries. They've been working on potholes and ditch cleaning. The 1996 Ford dump truck has been taken to get the new box installed. And lastly, Butchko completed the fluorescent to LED lighting conversion in the hall and administrative offices, and Darrell returned to work. Township Administrator Ashley noted that she was gathering the information needed to send to NOPEC for reimbursement for the LED lighting project. She also noted that she is going to submit the project for the Green Ribbon Award. Linda also noted that she hired an administrative assistant who will be starting on June 6, 2022. Lastly, Linda noted that pavilion reservations in the park have increased. Complaints were being handled by the designated individuals. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, May 24th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Amherst Township Hall. 5-422, a motion by Lynch, seconded by Euring, to adjourn at 8:28 p.m. All ayes.
Are there any changes or corrections to the May 10th meeting minutes?
Yes. The issues are 9162 Oberlin Road. That should be Oberlin Road. Okay then? Chris?
Sure.
Okay. What do we have there?
You went at Oberlin Road in there.
That's the only change I noted, but I wasn't here, so.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the May 10th, 2022 meeting minutes with the revision?
So move.
Second?
Did you say you seconded? Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Euring?
sorry.
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham. Okay, also you have in your packets the credit card purchases for April of 2022. All receipts are accounted for. And that is in front of you that I need your signatures.
I'll make a motion then that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and the card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
Second.
Question?
Denny, second.
Okay. Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Then you have the financial reports in front of you. You've got the payment listing. You'll notice that I've already paid our OPWC for July because I had it, so I paid it. We're all done for the year. And then the CF clerk, what was that one?
Box.
Oh, that's the box for, so that was the other larger amount. Otherwise, everything is pretty normal. And our year-to-date revenue is $619,723.86. And our year-to-date expenditures are $539,993.37.
Okay, are there any questions on the bills or financial reports?
No, I have none.
Nothing. Can I have a motion to accept the financial reports and pay the bills with reservation?
I'll move.
I second it.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Yes.
That's it? Okay. All right, I did, though I put it under correspondence and announcements, I'm just going to handle it under financial since that's where we have the information on the American Rescue Plan Act. You have in your package here a May 20th correspondence from the Ohio Township Association in regards to the ARPA funding. It did pass the House Bill 377. It is now with the Senate. I don't know if anyone looked at it. Marissa Myers, the OTA's Director of Government Affairs, did testify there on behalf of the townships. It was an interesting hearing because there are still a few representatives, and they obviously have some of the larger cities in their district. They were still of the mind that, geez, the larger cities are giving this money to the smaller cities and townships, and how do they answer that? And Marissa did very well, and I forget the gentleman's name from the Ohio Municipal League, but he spoke also and assured those state reps that they would not be getting the third degree from the larger cities, and if they did, it's just someone that doesn't understand that the way these funds were distributed was on a per capita basis, and every community was expected to get it. It was just a mix-up in the definition when it went from one house of Congress to the next, and that it certainly wouldn't be appropriate for somebody to take all the money and others to get none. So it still has to go through the Senate, but there's no expectation that they won't approve it. As a matter of fact, I did see in today's Chronicle, they had Gail Manning. She's not our rep, it's Joe Miller, but Gail had listed all of the cities and townships in her district, and she indicated she expects it to pass the Senate. So for Amherst Township, that'd be that $301,000, which will do quite a bit to bring our revenues back up to where Chris has that in there, and right now it's showing as a negative because we haven't received the funds as of yet. But it didn't say exactly when the funds would be available, but it said they'd certainly hope as soon as the Senate passes them that the Office of Budget Management gets those funds out to the communities. So I don't know if the Senate will be taking it up this week or next week as far as House Bill 377. The only other item, it was kind of hidden in there, and I didn't catch any wind of this. It actually came this last Friday, so subsequent to this, is that Marissa Myers is now leaving the OTA, and that was surprising, but I'm sure somebody probably saw her talents and gobbled her up. So it's, you know, we're going to miss her. She's always been very good at communicating with everyone and getting the, you know, winnowing things down to just what's important, because there's so much comes out of Columbus and the feds, and it's hard to keep up with all this stuff that's going on. So she does a real good job of summarizing that. But again, it was disappointing to me that anyone even considered that this might even be a possibility of not getting that second tranche of funding, but evidently there's still some people that if they could find a way to take it all, they would. I guess that's probably just human nature. And then also I contacted Commissioner Moore on the 2 grants we have requesting ARPA funds from the county for 2 county projects. And that's, if you recall, the one is where the county is extending sewers in several different areas in Amherst Township and on our border with Elyria Township. And that's going to force 28 residents and business to connect to the sanitary sewers. And what we're requesting is that, when we've looked at that, the cost varies, but you're usually talking around $10,000 in total cost to someone to connect, and we're asking that that be covered with ARPA funds. We've already received a ruling from the prosecutor that it is appropriate for the use of ARPA funds, and it's obviously spelled right out in the legislation, so there's no question on this one, but it's just a matter of getting it on the agenda, and hopefully the commissioners approve this. There's been the second one also deals with those sewers, but what we had requested was where the county plans on this year to extend the sanitary sewers from Hampshire Farms going northerly along Oberlin Road to the State Route 2 overpass. They originally planned to pay for that with TIF dollars, since they've TIFed that property. And so those would be dollars that predominantly come from, in this case, Amherst Exempted Village Schools, then Amherst Township, and then there's a host of different county levies that would end up not getting the money from the increased property value of that development. It would instead be used, was originally intended to pay for those sewers, which run just under $250,000 based on the current estimate. What our grant proposes is use your ARPA funds to pay for the sanitary sewers, use a smaller portion of the TIF dollars for the road resurfacing that needs to be done. One, we've delayed that road resurfacing 3 years, knowing this sanitary extension was going to come along, but it just kept getting delayed. And then the second item is the county went with open cuts across there to put the laterals in, which obviously creates some divots. Now, we've received 2 correspondence just today. One we know from a resident who's asking on behalf of his mom, who's one of the people that'll be forced to tie in, is that, hey, we had told him we had applied for grants, he was just checking on the status. Well, that still hasn't been put on the commissioner's agenda. It's my understanding that hopefully it's on next week, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then the other complaint, I don't know, the gentleman sent it through our website, so I don't know if it's a township resident or not, but he's complaining about the condition of the road. And obviously he says the reason is because of that development. Well, I just want to clear that up because this keeps coming up. The road damage is not because of the development. I'm going to keep repeating, the road, the condition of that road is because of the county sanitary sewer project that went in. The developers originally didn't intend on touching Oberlin Road. They planned on taking the sewers to the east and tying in there, but everything got changed to address the county had a concern that this gave them the opportunity to pick up those residential lots right now, just in the event that, you know, we all know the way the EPA changes things, and if that it ever came to the point that they were forced to tie in, it'd be much lower cost to do it now than to do it sometime in the future. So they saw this as an opportunity to get those central collection system in along Oberlin Road. So hopefully the county commissioners approve those grant requests. This is what those funds were originally for. It would seem like it'd be a more appropriate use of the funds. And then with the one, the schools would actually get their money much sooner because I think we're asking for roughly $20,000 in tax incremental financing on the roads, which is much less than $250,000 that the sanitary sewers would have been. So that's it as far as the ARPA funds. I don't see anybody in the audience today, so we'll move on to correspondence and announcements. Chris?
I have none.
Okay, David?
I have nothing to bring forward at this time, aside from the fact that I see that you have that email from Thomas Patrick on the solid waste.
And we
grant.
can address that when we get to that agenda item, Dave, but thank you. Okay, Denny?
Nothing. Thank you, Neil.
As David's pointed out, there's two items in here, but they both deal with items on the agenda, so we'll cover them at that time. I did just want to mention, we haven't heard yet from John Evanson or Tom Oster on Sandstone Phase 1, final site plan review before the Board of Trustees. So, let's assume that's either going to be at one of the future meetings. I'll be in contact with them. I hope it'll be the second meeting of June, not the first meeting. But I'll keep everyone informed on that. So we'll move on. Reports. I don't know, Denny, if you have anything on the ambulance since
Well,
they're-
we will have a meeting in June. It'll be the third Thursday of the month in June. What is the third Thursday of the month?
That's the 10th, June 10th.
Is the third Thursday?
Yep, because the first Thursday is the second's the 9th. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Sorry, Denny. It's the 16th.
The 16th. All righty. We'll have a meeting on the 16th at 7 o'clock.
And that's at the fire station?
At the fire station, yes, at the Amherst Fire Station.
Okay, thanks, Denny. All right, zoning, Remy?
Well, you had the 9 permits for the month, 1 new house for this month, which brings our total to 3 for the year. There's going to be a BZA meeting for a conditional use tomorrow on the 25th at 7 o'clock. And also, there'll be a design review, a design review for the 2 billboards. That meeting will be on June the 1st at 6:30.
That's a Wednesday?
No, it's the first Tuesday of the month, so I think
The 7th?
is it the 7th?
I believe so.
Could be right.
Yeah, week from today is the 31st. Week from tomorrow's the 32nd, so.
Okay, what is
June 7th.
June 7th,
The
not the
3rd,
1st?
June the 3rd. Wait a
June
minute.
3rd is Friday.
First. Wednesday, it's the 2nd, I'm sorry.
2 or 7?
2.
2 is a
Six-
Thursday.
June 2nd.
That's a Thursday.
Thursday. You're right, 7th. It's the 7th. Boy.
Wait a
One of
minute,
those
Randy,
days.
let me look at it. June 7th.
The 7th. That would be the design review for the billboards.
For 2 billboards, okay.
Number
That's the
Remy,
first Tuesday of the month.
if I give you a
At
$100
7?
bill, could you give me
At
back
7?
50 and 20s and 50 and 10s?
Yeah, the 7th, June 7th.
I just keep it.
Okay, was there anything else,
You
Remy?
give me a dollar bill, I just keep it.
Yeah, Remy, anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right, Fire Prevention Officer, Chris Nyhart.
We have some new businesses coming into the township, some of the old storefronts that are vacant, there's businesses moving into. Golden Acres, I don't know if they've given you guys the plan of what their, or when their demolition is.
No,
Visitors Bureau, I see they cleaned everything out of there as well. Nothing? Nothing from the county?
nothing from the county. I mean, I've heard rumors about the Visitors Bureau, but they're just rumors.
Just, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
We had asked about training at Golden Acres, and they keep putting us off, and I guess now they're supposedly going to speed up the demolition. That's what we keep hearing.
well, I know they awarded the bid. That was not the public meeting, but I don't know the schedule, Chris. I would think any one of the commissioners or J.R. White, the county administrator, might be best bet to check with. Because, yeah, it'd be nice if you got training in there now before they tear it down. And that'd be a good one for training.
Right, right. They were going to try to do that today, but Dan Gross, who used to be, he retired from the fire department. He's their maintenance coordinator. So they've been trying to go through him, but it's a struggle because I think he has to go through the next step to get to where he needs to be. And open burning in the township, no open burning in Amherst Township. If you want to do agricultural burning, you can call and we can take a look at your situation before you light it. We have good rapport now with the environmental officer that covers this area. If you are open burning, it is a waste of tax dollars for us to come out and put it out. Do not light it. If you do get caught, there's a good chance that the sheriff will cite you for open burning. It's always in the township newsletter. There's no open burning in the township. You guys provide places for people to dump things, and we have a lot of people that still like to burn. So do not light it.
But ag burning, they should call you and,
Yes, they can call and schedule it, and we can come out and see what they're actually going to burn and where they're going to do it at. And there's a list of requirements. If they call the county and they call us and let us know what day they're going to do it, the calls that if people see it and they call the county and say that, if they see a large fire, the county will defer that phone call to us. And 9 times out of 10, the fire department will not get called out for that burning. But it actually has to be an agricultural burn, not somebody who wants to burn their shed down or something because they don't want to haul it to the dump or throw it away. So
would that include I mean, I've just seen when they've had the leftover bags in the field next to us, there's a whole bunch of them, they were burning them. Is that okay?
you can, it's 3 foot by 3 foot. That's as big as you're allowed to have. If it generates smoke and we get called, then the chances are the environmental officer is going to come out and see you. If you have bags of yard waste, you can haul it up here and dump it at your facility across the street. That would save the big question of either yes or no. And
All right. Any questions then for Chris?
No, I have none.
And then, Chris, and I'm sure these came from you, we got a summary report up here that there's already been 3 food trucks here in the township that you've inspected.
Yep. Yep, you'll be getting 3 more from the flea market as well. Should be within the next week or so.
Yeah, that's what was surprising that these weren't, that's where we expect them, but these are not.
Every place but.
Okay, roads, parks, and cemeteries, Superintendent Smart.
For cemeteries and parks, been mowing and trimming, and we put in a full day of straightening out stones. We did not finish, but that was for that grant for the cemeteries. Probably got about 2 hours left, and that'll be taken care of. And roads were still on potholes. We did patch in 2 other catch basins and raised the tops back to where they're supposed to be. And started roadside mowing. And, we should have that finished up by tomorrow. Yeah, that box on the 96 Ford, that came back. And that's all. That's good to go. We did a good job.
Okay, good.
Other than that, everything's running pretty smooth.
Well, as long as the 1996 Ford holds up, it's got a new box now, so
Yeah.
if it holds up, that 15,000 was well spent.
Mm-hmm. Definitely give it quite a few more years.
Okay, and who put the, do you know which group put all the flags at the cemetery for the veterans?
Um, it's usually the Legion. Now, this year I did not see them. That's,
Didn't Linda say something about an Eagle Scout? For some reason, I thought it was a project, but
Yeah, I just wasn't sure who put them up, but, I mean, they look nice.
yeah.
Sure who,
I did not see them this year, but usually it's the Legion.
yeah, they were up, I didn't go out to Kendig, but the other one, they were all up on,
They are
Little
up.
Ridge,
They
so-
are up at Kendi as well.
okay. Yeah, it's nice they put them up, would have been, maybe Linda knows, we'll find out from her. And also, for the trustees, I had mentioned to Kevin prior to the meeting, and I think you guys are aware of this, but, you know, yesterday, being a Monday, which is an odd day, the park was full of activities, and someone had something going on in the pavilions also, but there's definitely not enough parking when it's full go. You know, usually, the soccer teams usually know they park along Hidden Valley Drive also. Some feedback here. I didn't see at this time anybody parking down Hidden Valley Drive yet, but you know, the parking lot was filled up. So, and there's about 100 spots there, and that's about it. So people just kept circling around. I guess they were hoping somebody'd leave, but you know, that's kind of difficult to do. Come 6 o'clock, it's filled, and the one group was there at 5. So they took up quite a few. But it's something to keep in mind in the future. You know, if there's any way we can somehow get that additional parking. Are there any other questions for Kevin?
I have none.
Okay. I'm not going to give any report here on Lorco other than, you know, they're still seeing considerable amount of building going on, even with the high inflation, even with the current increase in the mortgage rates. But keep in mind, a lot of the growth that's happening in the Lorco area is all from developers with subdivisions. So it's, you know, who knows what's going to happen here in the next few months. I mean, we've seen this before where they get moving and then, you know, if something happens here in the economy that could come to a screeching halt. You know, they have adjusted how they go about in their sales of these new homes because of also the difficulty in the obtainment of the materials, which they're scheduling ahead of time, and trying to keep that cost at some known rate, a predictable rate, versus the wild swings they've been seeing in their materials. But that's all I'll really have to say on Lorco. It's expect somewhere around 150 new homes this year, just in the Phase 1 area itself.
Are these speculative homes, or are these homes that are under contract and already sold?
Well, I don't know that, David, but they had this many last year, and they were sold, so I would expect the same thing. You know, it's hard. No builder right now wants to go out and build too many homes without a buyer and money up front. Some of the adjustments they've made in their contracts, similar to what we had in the lighting here, is they might have an agreed-to price and then an adder in there depending upon what the cost of lumber and materials might change. And that makes it difficult for people that are pulling out loans and building new homes up front. And then as far as the complaints, I don't know, Denny, have you heard anything more on the group of residents from Pile South Amherst?
No, I called yesterday, and I tried to get a hold of, what's his
Don
name?
Romanchek?
Don, but he's gone for the week, so I have not heard any action that may be taken on that. I did try to call yesterday, but what can I say?
You know, that rain that we had on Saturday, Sunday morning, I went by there and checked it out. It didn't appear that it backed up.
Well, that, you cleared that line, and that released it, And-
Yeah, but it was just kind of a,
yeah.
you know, it's okay right now, but maybe,
When it plugs up again, and it's gonna plug up again because it's so small, it's gonna be backed up again. So, and Don knows that. He knows that's the area, and he's gonna, well, hopefully, he's gonna fix it. Because that's a county road, and that's their baby, and he did take a look at the east side. I pointed out the two drives that have been put in where water is coming out of those two drives on the east side. That's the killer, and that's where it's putting all the additional water in to the west side. And, but he saw that, and, so I'm hopeful the county does something.
And there was one other item, I skipped over it, and jumped right to complaints, but it was also dealing with the stormwater. That is for the next phase in the Batten House ditch, which will be a roughly $89,000 project, and we're requesting around $71,000 in grant funds, and the other $18,000 being township funds. Is the Board of Commissioners did approve that on May 13th. They said they're working on the MOU, and we still have not received the MOU. So when we get that, you know, that'll set the first step, whereas then we can put this out for bid. So that's still in process. Okay, as far as the other items that are assigned specific responsibility, is there anything else to bring up? And David, I know on solid waste, and you do have a document in your packet here, Denny.
Ready? We have, under solid waste, the amount available for the township for 2022. That would be $7,831.25. There's still a provision in the, well, that is down from years before, due to the amount of money being available for grants, primarily. In the past, you know, we've used it for the grinding and newsletters. What I would recommend, since there's still that 10% of the grant that needs to go for advertising, we put 10% or $783 or $84 toward the newsletter as the advertising component, and then the rest we could put toward grinding of the yard waste. It won't cover it all, but it'll cover part of it, and it's money that doesn't have to come out of our general fund for grinding. That would be my recommendation, to submit the grant like that. And we can do like we did before. We can put an article in the newsletter, perhaps on the collection center or something else pertaining to recycling, and then use that as the advertising component.
Okay.
That way we cover that requirement of the grant.
Okay, yeah, and we've already got the logo, and the website's already updated. Indicate the information, so. Yeah, I have no objection to that, David. I mean, the money has to be, you know, we've got those
Spent
costs coming
somewhere.
in anyway, and that's all
It's gonna
dealing
come
with the
from
recycling.
somewhere, you know.
Yeah, I did put on here a chart, though, just keep in mind the way things used to be, starting from 2008 through today. Just so we understand, 2008, we received 76,000. 2009, this is when they started the volume-based system, we were at 60,000. Then when the change came in, where there was also some adjustment of the tipping fee, 2010, 2011, we received nothing. And now we just keep, since 2012, it looks like the range has been between 4,177 in 2014 to 11,494 in 2021, which was the high. So that's your range. I didn't do any other stats, but if you really looked at from 2012 to 2022 today, just taking the basic inflation rate, over that 11-year period, you would think that you would have grown some from the original $8,000. We're actually going in the other direction, so I just don't know when you're sitting through on, as our rep on solid waste, are there revenues going down or staying flat? Because
There's a surplus there, but the revenues are going down due to the fact that it's based on the volume that goes into the landfill, and the volume is going down because contracts that Allied has lost, BFI has lost. So therefore, the tonnage is down, the tipping fees are down, and that's causing the district some concern because there's a surplus. It's not an immediate concern right now, but it is a concern in the future. Right now, they're eating into the surplus. That's why we don't see a big push to increase the pot right now. Sure, if revenues were steady and there was a big surplus, yes. We'd see about putting more money into grants. But right now, revenues are going down. We don't know how long it's going to go. And with the revenues shrinking, then revenues are going down. Therefore,
no,
wait, I'm trying to think. My brain like there for a second. With the grant, the revenues are going down, and it's not a certain time. You're not certain of your revenues, therefore you don't want to make a commitment right now to do what the future brings.
I appreciate they're watching it, but I would think it's odd because there hasn't been an increase in contracts that would decrease the amount of waste. So is it that they're not
The
getting it from Cuyahoga
fees.
County?
Yeah, the other district tipping fees are really hurting me.
So it's Cuyahoga County not sending it over. It has nothing to do with the contracts that some of the townships and cities have
No,
now gone
because
under to get a better price for the
the-
residents.
The companies that take the waste out of the district, they have to pay a tipping fee. They have to pay a fee also. And they're sending their fees, getting revenue from that. Well, it's the out-of-district, Cleveland area, Metro Cleveland, that's increasing the revenue.
So this is probably actually, then everything's worked out good in Lorraine County. We're conserving our landfill, putting less in. We're now, almost 10 years, we've gotten these alternative competition in our county that's, the residents are still paying less than they were 10 years ago, so that's good. They must be recycling. It sounds like everything's a positive other than the revenue to distribute that you get from putting landfill stuff in there is down. So this is really a positive, right?
Well, less is going in there. There's a positive aspect to it, and that is you're not using up the capacity of the landfill, which means you're extending the life of it.
And Cleveland must have been taking more, and now they're finally going to figure out how to recycle stuff in Cleveland, right?
I think Cleveland is, Cleveland's still there. I think one of the communities that was lost was Parma, I believe.
Well, Parma, I think, was always recycling. Cleveland said they were, but it was fake recycling. It was all going to the landfill. All right, David, thanks. Okay, is there any new business?
No.
Okay, our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, June 14th at 7 o'clock. Any need for a work session, Kevin? Okay. Any other?
Tuesday, June 14th.
June 14th, correct,
Okay.
7 o'clock.
3 weeks, we get an extra week. Next Tuesday.
Any need for an executive session?
No?
If not, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.